those royals or celebrities, most of the time they have 2 or 3 private chefs. So they have every day, every single day, Michelin star experience in their house, in their villa, in their palace. What they miss is the grandmother cuisine, so authenticity in the way that you have a simple pasta pomodoro done in my mother's style or my grandmother's style. They love it. They love simplicity.
This is the Wine and Dine Me podcast. Forget the etiquette. No rules, just real talk. On today's podcast, I have my friend and business partner in Italy, Laura Somma. Laura is an Italy-born event planner and founding of the Wedding Prive and LSA events. After studying German literature in Germany, the opportunity to produce a major automotive brand presentation pulled her into live events, and she never looked back. Her career has taken her across Japan, the United States, India, China, Europe, and Qatar, with work spanning international weddings, private celebrations, and major cultural institutions. Today, she's known for calm leadership, strong collaboration, and building planning teams that can deliver the seemingly impossible with intention, discretion, and real warmth. I'm used to starting most of my days with you.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes, we usually do. I mean, I finish my day with you and you start your day with me, which is amazing.
It's really amazing, and one of the best selling points I feel like for when I'm talking to a client, especially someone, of course, who's looking in Italy, where I'm like, I can be in 2 places at once, here in the United States with you, and then, I can communicate with my partner, and by the time we wake up, there are answers. It's just really an amazing system that we have and a great selling point.
Yeah. I think this makes things working. And I am a very prompt person, and I think this helps always a lot because, you don't have to ask again or reiterate or things. And because I hate to do this, I don't want other people to do it. So that's why it's so important to me to be always as prompt as possible.
Oh, and it helps. I mean, I've planned weddings abroad before I had this partnership with you. And it's a lot. Not only is the time difference an obstacle, but you're following up and you're losing days. And it helps when you also have an Italian like yourself who's calling and making those phone calls. You get answers, I think, a little faster than if it was just me as the U.S. planner.
Yeah, I mean, I am an Italian in many ways, but on the other side, I am not a typical Italian because I'm super prompt. As I said, I'm very on top of everything. I'm not saying that Italians are lazy. No, they are not. But, the sense of urgency doesn't belong to many Mediterranean people. This is my German side. And so I am much more German than Italian when it comes to work.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that because Americans can be very type A. And so to have you as my partner in Italy, it really, really helps. So thank you. Well, speaking of German, I want to start from your beginning. And you studied German literature. And so my question to you, and this was before you became an event planner, is how does that chapter of studying German literature and what you learned from that show up in your work today?
Yeah, I mean, everything happens for a reason, and we learn these or we understand these after a while. I went to the gymnasium and I studied English, German, and Spanish. And this was at my age quite unusual. I had to take 2 trains to reach this lyceum and etc. And the turning point where everything has started was a book which is called the Sorrow of the Young Werther. It's a book of Goethe, and this is the most romantic book I have ever read. And really, if you love romanticism, you can't miss this book. So when I read this book, I said, I want to continue to know about these big writers like Goethe, Schiller. I want to go into deep. I want to know more. So I decided to apply for a German university, and I started to study there. I moved to Mainz, which is the second oldest university in Europe after Bologna, which is the first one, and all started there. And how these lead me to the career, it's another thing that you can say, okay, this was meant to be. Because imagine someone studying German literature. One day someone came into the university and they were looking for hostess, stewardess, these people at the event that it's welcoming the guest, etc. So I said, yeah, I want to go. Every experience was, imagine an Italian from the South going to Germany, and we're talking over 30 years ago. And I said, yes, I want to do. I won't miss any experience. And this was the launch of a famous brand, German automobile. I'm not going to mention, but it's quite easy to guess. And, I entered this ballroom and I saw all these setup and lights and candles and beautiful tables. And I said, wow, I want to do this. I want to belong to this industry. And this is how everything has started, because the lady that hired me, I told her, every time you need, I will come for free. And she took me, really like a mentor. Yeah, I can say she was a real mentor, because she was teaching me this. At that time, it was only corporate events, of course.
Right.
And she teach me everything I know in a very different way. We're talking about a different, let's say, era, if we want. And there was unlimited budget. The things we were doing, there was an industry like pharmaceutical, automotive. These were spending budget that now are unreal, honestly, especially in the corporate events. And this has completely changed my chapter. I mean, the literature was still there. I still read with great passion, but this was my path, and I understood it immediately.
You know what I love about it was you started off talking about this romance novel, and then you talk about walking into the ballroom with the candles and it has some romance too. And so I see this tie. I think that, I don't know, those of us who are very passionate about our job have that belief and in romance and that draw to romance. So I like thinking about it like that.
Yeah, I think this job was meant to be for me, because I am, after so many years, and how many years I've been doing this, I still feel so emotional when they say I do. I recently did an Indian wedding, and although I didn't understand a single word of what they were saying, I was in tears, because all this was so emotional.
Yeah.
It was so incredibly engaging. And I think a planner should have this. I mean, if you are doing this as a job, it won't work.
Yeah, I agree. I think the beautiful thing about witnessing ceremonies, no matter where you are in the world, it's about love. It's about families coming together, and it's a universal language that just presents itself differently depending on what country you're in.
But love is a universal language. This is what it's a very simple thing, you know. Sometimes we love to make things complicated,
Mhm.
but love is a really, really simple thing. So you're totally right. It's
I
true.
love that. I
It's
love that.
true.
Well, so you started in corporate, and that makes sense. But how did you get into weddings? And if you started 30 years ago, there were no wedding planners. So how did you sell something that people didn't know that they needed?
Essentially, I didn't sell anything because I did one corporate event, and one of the guests attending, it was like a congress for law firm, something like this. And one of the guests attending, it was at that time a very well-known lawyer in Italy. He came with his girlfriend, and at that time she was one of the top model in Italy. You know, she is not Italian, but you know, all the top model were, you know, going on the catwalk for Armani, Versace, Valentino, etc. So she came to me and said, I'm getting married the 2nd of December, and I have no time and I have no clue, and I need your help. And I look at her, I said, I'm not, I haven't done ever a wedding in my life.
Yeah.
So she said, I'm sure you can make it. And the funny thing is that I immediately asked her, tell me which color you don't like and tell me something you really don't want to see. I immediately had these two key questions for her. So imagine 30 years ago, no WhatsApp, there was just a normal phone. So she was traveling all around Europe for the fashion week and the world. So we had to adjust our time and things like that. It was much more complicated than now. Now it's a walking in the park.
It's easy, yeah.
So um, once a week we were having this call, and I was just telling her. She said to me, I trust you. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Everything you will decide it. I mean, she didn't have time, and I can understand when you are a top model and every week you are traveling somewhere, you will have no time. So essentially this was the first wedding I did. She entered the venue as a guest. Trust,
Ah,
as a guest. She didn't know anything at all. And I took a huge risk, not only because I didn't share with her anything, but also because I chose a color which was pearl gray that was so risky, and she loved it. And the guests there were crazy because all the decoration we did, it was really beautiful and elegant. It was a very old cloister in Italy. So we turned this cloister into a very romantic, elegant venue. And I got the rest of the clients understood that I was the planner, and it started like this.
that's
So
amazing.
essentially, I didn't sell anything.
And you started not only you started at the top, it sounds like. I mean, you're the corporate events that you worked with had unbelievable budgets, and then this was a client who is, I would say, maybe your ideal client. I think it's harder, and I tell young planners this all the time. It's harder to jump to different calibers and different levels because and I always tell them you want to start at the level where you want to be because it's a whole different language. They're the same components, but the way that these people operate and their expectations and the way that you have to deliver and execute a wedding are very, very different for that type of client.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, this is so
Who
true.
who were some of, if you are able to share, who are some of your first big clients that either, put you on the map or really enhance the trajectory of your career? Because as you just said, your next client and your referral base are in the room where your event is. So who are some of those people who put you
Yeah, one of the most famous was Naomi Campbell. She was celebrating her birthday in our region. I come from Campania, so which is very famous for Capri, Sorrento, Amalfi. So it's already a destination where all the celebrity pass by. And so there was an agency in Paris who was in touch with me because, they counted on the fact that I used to work with this top model, etc. So they know that discretion was really something they can count. And so I didn't know who was. They told me we need to organize a party, a birthday party. And until I saw her, I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know anything. They told me we really need to find a place where paparazzi cannot arrive. So what we did was we took a private island, which is in front of Positano, as a very difficult access. So the venue was ideal because we could monitor everyone around. By the moment she landed, everyone knew that she was in the region. So it was very, very difficult. But at the end, we managed. We managed that there was no one on the island. There was no paparazzi, only us, the team, the performers, the catering was on the island. So we managed, I have to say, despite all the difficulties, in a very good way. And we were ready for everything. But she was amazing. I mean, she was so grateful. She was so kind. So I learned that never trust what the tabloid are saying, never trust all these kind of things, because we were really ready for every possible thing. And then she was really nice.
Yeah.
So, and it started all, as I said, there was Leonardo DiCaprio that night. There was Shakira, there was the girlfriend of Leonardo DiCaprio. So they were all there. And even the performers, they were very, very famous people. We took a pianist from Moscow. We took flamenco dancers from Spain. We took a DJ from Paris. So we took also the performers were very well-known people. What has saved me, if you want to put this way, I was never intimidated by these people.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. But I always dealt with them in a very casual way. And even when I was working for the royal family of Qatar, these are people where they are surrounded by other people who will always say yes, yes,
Right.
yes.
Right.
I am not this kind of person. And I always said what I was thinking. I mean, if I thought that something was wrong or not appropriate for the mood of the evening, or I was telling them straightforward.
Yeah.
And I have to say they appreciate this.
Absolutely, because they know that people around them just want to please them and do whatever. And so I think they value that. And they probably also value another human speaking to them as a human and not some celebrity. They like that authenticity. I know you and I've talked about the need for authenticity a lot, and how those simple things are sometimes the greatest luxury because they don't have that often.
Exactly. I mean, especially in certain parts of the world, but I'm sure in the States it's the same. They are surrounded by pleasers. They are surrounded by yes men as women. And when they have in front of them someone who's saying exactly the truth, they are so happy. And it's very rare. I mean, I haven't done anything on purpose, I have to say. But at the end of the day, it paid back the
Yeah.
fact that I was saying, no, this is not going to work. This will look awful. I'm not even mother tongue. So to me, it was even difficult to find a way to say things in a very polite way. My vocabulary is quite small because this is not my mother tongue. So I had to say the things the way I was able to say.
Right.
So sometimes it was really straight.
Yeah. How did you get involved with the royal family of Qatar?
Yeah, this was another funny story. My husband got a job in Doha. My husband is a general manager, hotel general manager, and he got an offer by a well-known chain in the Middle East. And they have offered him this position, and I said, go, Gabriele. This is a good opportunity. You go. So I was still in Italy, packing and preparing everything. And at the same time, I was doing the birthday of Naomi Campbell. So imagine all this. So Gabriele was in Doha buying a second-hand car. And he met this person and he was talking with this person. And just like waiting for the paper to be finalized, etc. And he said, my wife is coming and she's an event manager. She just recently organized the birthday of Naomi Campbell. He looked at my husband and said, is your wife Laura Somma?
No way.
He said, yes. How do you know her? He said, no, I know her because we were talking about the birthday of Naomi and they said it was an amazing birthday, etc. At the end of the day, this person was one of the producers of the Vanity Fair night.
Okay.
And he was in Doha working for Her Royal Highness for a big project. So when they finished the paper and everything regarding the car, he said, please, this is my mobile number. Tell Laura when she reached Doha to get in touch with me. And this is how all has started. I called him and he said to me, please come. I want to see you. The interview wasn't a real interview because it turned out I told him all the difficulties of the island where we were doing the birthday things and the dinner and kind of things, and he was laughing a lot and ends up to say, okay, when can you start? And it was, I think, a Wednesday and I started the Monday. So
wow.
and I was not even ready because all my things were still shipped and not arrived and all these kinds of things. But this was one of the most amazing experience of my life because I was exposed to things that never ever in your life, especially considering I come from Sorrento, a small place, and I was working for the Tribeca Film Festival. I was dealing with all the celebrity, and on top I was doing some royal weddings. So you couldn't ask, even if you were dreaming about something, you could never ever dream something so big. So this was really the greatest opportunity of my life.
That's amazing. I love it when you and I are together, you tell me some stories and about those experiences, and it's just truly unbelievable and really cool that you've had those experiences. And then another thing for me to be like, oh, my partner in Italy, she's done several royal weddings for, it's like, oh, no big
Oh,
deal.
yeah. No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, but I have to say, and I was just, I came back from Doha last Saturday. Those people have been really the greatest, the most humble
Yeah.
people I have ever met. And, they are the third richest family in the entire world. And they've been really the most humble, welcoming, kind people I have ever met. I couldn't be more, blessed than that because, this experience could really change your life and didn't change me, by the
Right.
way, which is the most important thing,
Yes.
because what I learned from them is to be humble, because if you see at these people, they speak 7, 8 languages. They know my country better than myself. trust me. They are so rich, but they really are the most humble people, generous. What they have done for children around the world is incredibly. So we learn from these people also how to stay with your feet on the ground,
You know,
which is very important.
you spoke about this in Sicily last year, and you were talking about what real luxury is to people who have everything, who can pay for everything. So can you talk about that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for those people who can have everything in their life and they can fly whatever they want just to buy a bag, there are simple things who are very important. I have to say they care a lot about their health. And for us at that time, we were struggled because when I started to work in Doha, of course, Doha was not the Doha you see now. It was a country that was booming, a country that was developing a lot. So to make a long story short, we needed some specific water that they wanted in glass bottle, not plastic bottle. We've been spinning around the entire city of Doha. This water was not available. So I said, okay, fine, let's take a flight, let's go to Dubai, let's buy the water and go back to Doha. And this is what we did. We went to Dubai, we took cases of water just to be safe. And it was in glass, of course, and we took it back to Doha. I mean, this is one of the thousands things we have done. But I have to say that a lot of celebrities, they've been really difficult with the water. I mean, the water seems to be one of the most important thing for them, what they drink. So this is a serious topic. Let's put it this way. Water is a serious topic for everyone. And for all the celebrity we've been dealing with, the water was a serious topic. So,
Interesting.
oh yeah. Yeah.
I also like one of the things that you mentioned when we were in Sicily and you were on this panel, you were talking about, these people who have everything. They would choose a simple tomato pasta
Definitely.
over a Michelin restaurant.
Yes.
And why? Why do you
Yes.
think that is?
Okay, let's consider that those royals or celebrities, most of the time they have 2 or 3 private chefs. They might have an Italian executive chef and then they have a French or all the way around. So they have 2, 3 chefs. So they have every day, every single day, Michelin star experience in their house, in their villa, in their palace. What they miss is the grandmother cuisine, so authenticity in the way that you have a simple pasta pomodoro done in my mother's style or my grandmother's style. They love it. They love simplicity because for them, as for normal human being, when we go into a 3 Michelin star restaurant, we're, wow, for them is a daily experience, So what they are looking for is really the most authentic, simple plate with spaghetti with tomato. That's
I
it.
love it.
And they try. Really, when I heard stories that they were in Capri, for example, last summer, and they called a grandmother, I tell you, a grandmother to come on one of the yachts and cook a simple plate of spaghetti with pomodoro. So this is it. This is what they miss, essentially. So, and it's nice.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
So you've produced events across multiple countries. What is the first thing that you listen for when you're learning a new culture or family dynamic?
Yes, essentially what I try to do, and this I have learned through a lot of wrong things, because when you go to a new country, there are a lot of misconception or people who have perceived the country. But what they have perceived, it's very personal. So I have learned that you don't have to listen to anyone. When I arrive in a new city, in a new place, what I do, okay, according to the time zone, I try to go out in a very crowded place. I sit in a cafe, in a bar, and I just look. I like to look at the people because, when you look, you understand a lot of the dynamics, a lot of things that if someone is telling you, let's talk about Qatar. It's a country that I know so well. If you talk about 10 people, they will tell 10 different things. What I have perceived, it was personal. It was mine. It was not through the eyes of someone else. It was not through the ears of someone else. So what is important and what I suggest to the people, you need to have your own feelings, your own understanding about the country. So when you arrive, try not to listen to right and left what people are talking. Try to have your feeling, your understanding. Go into a bar, a cafe, go walk into a mall, whatever. Try to stay with the people and see how they act, what they do. This is very important. So you can have your own idea that is not through the lens of someone else.
Mm. I like that. How do different cultures influence the way that you design? Not only the planning, of course, but the way you design?
Yeah, let's put it this way. The planning is just, logistic, timelines, coordination. So it's a skill that when you are a planner, you have it.
Right.
That's very simple. Design is about meaning. You want to convey on a message. You want to say something that can be said through colors, rituals, music, the different experience of the guest. So I like to say that when I design a wedding, I create a bridge. Because of course, I am Italian and my heritage, my roots are there. Although I've been living in so many different countries, I am Italian. But I have taken a lot from all different cultures. So when you expose yourself to other culture and you do organize a wedding for them, the blend is important. The blend will make the difference. So when you design a wedding, you need to create a bridge because, as I said, sometimes you have an American couple doing a wedding in Italy. So you are already creating a bridge. But especially when there are different cultures. So maybe the groom is from somewhere. The bride is from somewhere else. You are getting married in Italy. You need to blend all this. That's what I say. I like to create a bridge because at the end of the day, this is the most important thing. The bridge is what will create an amazing experience.
And it tells the story. It's all about telling the story.
Yes.
What is I'm curious to know, do you have a non-negotiable? Like for you, for Laura, is there a non-negotiable that you have for a guest experience no matter the country?
What I suggest, it's always, trying to give the best out of the experience. And what I have learned that, okay, now, as you said, I've started 30 years ago, so things have changed a lot. But now you can have amazing food everywhere. So even if you come to Italy, you have good food. But even in New York and in Los Angeles, you have great Italian restaurants. So the food is part of the experience. For me, I always try that the guests do not miss a local performance. A local performance, I think it's something that will last, will give you some vibes that will stay with them for a very long while, and that will connect to the place where you are.
Mm,
Of course, the food will connect you,
sure.
but at the end of the day, many people coming to Italy, for them has no difference. Pasta, it's pasta in Milano, it's pasta in Venice, it's Palermo, in Napoli, it's pasta. For them, okay, I'm eating Italian just because you're eating
Yeah.
pasta,
Yeah.
which is partially not true, because every region has its own identity, every region has some special food, etc. So the food will, of course, connect you with the place where you are having your wedding. But at the end of the day, I think the performance, to me, and also because, people need joy.
Yeah.
And a good performance will always give you joy.
Yeah.
So,
It moves you. I think it introduces a new emotion.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I love
yeah,
that. Well, let's talk about the Wedding Prive.
yeah.
So, you recently founded and launched a new global organization to serve multi-destination weddings. And that's important to point out. We're not talking about destination weddings. We're talking about
Yes.
multi-destination weddings, and this is the first of its kind in the world. So, tell us what the Wedding Prive is and how this is going to change the game of luxury weddings.
Yeah, there are more and more couples from different places. So, for example, she can be from Middle East, he can be from Europe, and they don't want to celebrate the wedding in any of their own country. So they choose a third country. But nevertheless, they want to have a celebration in their country with maybe the grandmother or some relatives that cannot travel, whatever is the reason. You end up to have 3, 4 venues, 3, 4 lands where you are doing a celebration. This is something very difficult unless you have people who are specialized and people who knows what to do.
Mhm.
So when I started with the idea of the Wedding Prive, it was because I personally experienced this. When I was in Doha, they wanted to do the henna night in Doha, but they wanted then to travel somewhere else, like in Amalfi, and do the celebration in Amalfi and the after party in Monte Carlo. Imagine I was doing this alone. I mean, not alone, but because I had a team of people. But I didn't have senior people. I had junior people who I had to instruct, oversee, control. Um, it was very difficult. It was extremely, extremely difficult. So when I started to meet planners, like you, for example, where, you have a mental connection, because this is a world where there are huge ego,
Yeah.
where kindness, courtesy, empathy is lost. I mean, nowadays it's lost, but in this industry, I think there are very big ego.
Yeah.
So when I met people like you and there was this mental connection, these vibes, I understood we can do this. We can create an association where you are in US, someone else is in Ibiza, someone else is in Monte Carlo, someone else is in Middle East, in Jordan, Lebanon, name one, and we can work together. We can
Yeah.
work together. And imagine what you can achieve when you are senior people like you. You are the owner of the company, not the coordinator that can handle a certain responsibility, but not certainly can handle the responsibility that we are handling for a multi-destination wedding. It's totally a different thing. So I started to share with you the idea of the Wedding Prive. And I shared with people, the fact that I am in the industry for over 30 years, I know a lot of people. And I saw really, people were enthusiasts about this. They were waiting for someone like this. And this is a game changer because we have to stop thinking as many planners. I am the best. I can do everything by myself. Forget about it.
Yeah.
There are things that can be done together
Yeah.
and will give you a huge satisfaction. You know, to me, the vibes, the feelings are so important. So when we are together, and you are a witness of this, when we are together, we are like a family. And I know this might sound to other planners like, no way, they're just telling stories. No, it's true.
It's true.
We respect each other. We esteem each other. We have courtesy, empathy, kindness. We
Right.
respect the job the other are doing. And when we are together, we can achieve something that alone cannot be achieved. Whatever you can be the best, no way. It cannot be achieved.
It really takes a special person, especially you mentioned the ego of event planners. That is probably a very common trait, this strong ego. And so it takes a very special person to become part of this collective and to be able to work as a collective. You're not abandoning your independent business, but for those who are wise enough to understand that when you can be part of something globally bigger, your business individually will elevate as well. And
Exactly.
there are of our members, there are several people, several planners who have been in the same experience like you just described, where they've had to figure out how to plan multiple events in different countries. One, of course, that they know well, but they're having to figure out the other countries. And what the Wedding Privé is allowing us to do is someone can call us with this itinerary that goes across different countries, and we can confidently say, yes, we can handle that professionally without a doubt. Whereas before, if you were working alone, you might say, sure, I can do it. And then you leave and you're like, how am I going to figure this out? But we know because we have our systems in place, our connections, and you disperse this global network of like, we can make this happen very,
Yes.
very quickly.
Yes, yes. And on top of that, before I started this, I really took the time to study a business model. I wanted to make sure that we all succeed. So this is a structured way to do this on a global scale.
I think what's also interesting is how the Wedding Privé is perfectly positioned to serve the Gen Z client. And the Gen Z client is right now, I think we're serving the millennials, and then Gen Z is becoming the bigger pool of who the client will be. And those people value experiences over things. Their luxury is travel, they're used to seeing everything. They've seen all the things and they've had all the things. So I think this model is just a perfect opportunity for the Gen Z clients who are ready to spend.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I have seen the wedding industry changing throughout the years. And what I see now is exactly what you said. Now, the new generation, they are value the experience.
Yeah.
And the experience is the most important thing. They focus on the experience because at the end of the day, if you think, uh, how many weddings we have been attending, how many weddings we have been organizing, what has left a big space in your heart was the experience, the emotion, what you felt. Certainly not what you eat
Sure.
or the
Yeah.
super flowers or whatever. It
Mm,
was the feeling, the experience that you had that night, that day.
yeah.
And they are focusing on the right things. Finally, I would say finally, we
Yeah.
are not focusing on impress anyone
Yeah.
and they need to please themselves. And this is what I always say to the couple. Stop pleasing others. This is your day. This is your moment. And first of all, you will never please everyone. So
Oh,
it's
of
a
course.
mission impossible. So focusing on yourself. What did you dream? What you were really dreaming of, and do it. We can do everything. Today, really, we can do everything.
Mhm.
So just say
And I also want to say, having a multi-destination wedding is not as complex as people may think. Like if I'm speaking from the American perspective, they may think, oh, well, that works better for Europeans or somewhere where it's like the countries are so close. But from the American perspective, most Americans who go overseas for a wedding are staying for several days, and they're either planning some travel on the front end or the back end of the wedding. So why not introduce different destinations while you're there? It's really not that complicated. You're traveling
exactly,
anyway before and after. So build
exactly.
that into your wedding schedule.
And it's also a big opportunity. I see this especially for Americans, because, you are traveling all the way to Europe. So you land in Rome, you do one of the celebration in Rome, and then you travel to south of France and you do the celebration, the wedding and the reception in south of France. And then half an hour driving, you are in Monte Carlo and you can just have your after party. It's
Mhm.
so simple.
Right,
It's so easy. And with the right people,
right.
it's really seamless. This
Yes,
is what we have to let them understand. I
right,
mean, you have been traveling for 8 hours at the least if you're coming from New York, or 12 hours if you're coming from California. So you are in Europe. You
right,
can enjoy more destination than just one destination. And at the end
right,
of the day, this will give to the wedding totally a different vibe. This is completely something else because you are experiencing something totally different,
right.
something rarely organized before. Imagine this was organized by the royals only before.
Exactly.
Now we have some other people that are starting to think, maybe instead of having 4 days in Rome or 4 days in Amalfi, we can move and do it. Especially the Gen Z, as you said, they
Perfect.
love this idea. They love
And it's
this idea.
really because of the wedding privé, it's possible. I think
Yes,
people who might have had the idea think, "Oh, it's too logistically, it's impossible." No, it's now possible.
exactly. We take care of everything, and we have our own associate. We are our own people, so we do not rely on vendors that we have never seen before. We rely on the network of our associate who has
Right.
been there for years.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
why that's why it's so easy for us. For us, it's
Exactly.
really something easy because everyone is taking a small part of this journey with their own network. So
Right.
it's it's really
It's
easy.
unreal. It's really, really exciting. And we have our launch next month in Rome.
Exactly. 26th of March, we are having we're having all our planners, all the planners that we have on board, and some really big people from the media and great sponsors who has also, believed in this project. So we are launching worldwide the wedding privé concept to let the people understand something that maybe they dreamed about it and they never knew they could have done it in such an easy way.
Right.
So this is what we're doing. We can't say anything else regarding that night. It's a secret. We have to keep it secret. But no, it's gonna be an amazing 2 days. It's gonna be an amazing 2 days in Rome.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh, I
Um,
can't wait.
Laura, to conclude our conversation, I always like to ask my guests, what would you like to leave listeners with? If you had one truth or one piece of advice, what would it be?
There are, to me, two things that are very important, and I always try to leave this message to younger planners or everyone who's around me. One thing is trust your gut.
Mm.
Your gut is so important. It's telling you things in a way that you will be surprised. So if there is something and you feel inside that might be not the right thing or not good, or trust always your gut. This is so important. And the second thing, it's something that, maybe it's easier for me because, I've been around for a few seasons, so I'm not so young, but I always say to the planners when I do some, lessons or, lectures or something, I always say, try not to please the people. Try not to compromise too much. This is very important. You have in front of you a person who has chosen you to do your job.
Mm.
So do your job. Do your job. You have in front of you a CEO, a president, a royal, or I don't know, a managing director. These people expect from you that you take the lead, you take the decision. So do your job. It's very important. Do not compromise too much because, you have in front of you couples who are overwhelmed. The mother, the father, the mother of the groom, the mother. So you have a lot of people who are going through a lot of emotions. You should be rational. You should be the person who is in the room and knows what to do. So
Yeah.
lead the conversation. This is very important.
That's such good advice.
Lead the conversation. This is really important. And if you do it in the right manners, they will be grateful. I can tell you so many stories when I had to say, no, we're not going to do this. In a way, I was so firm.
Yeah.
And the day of the wedding, the bride came to me and she hugged me and she said, I'm so glad you stopped me to do this. It will have ruined the entire
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
So you when you are sure this is the right thing, do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's such good advice. I love it. Laura, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your stories. I love them and I'm so happy to be able to share them with our
Thank you.
listeners.
Thank you for hosting and thank you for this time. It's so good to share the story of a planner that has started all this in Sorrento. So thanks a lot.
Ciao.
Ciao.